Shall we play a game?
Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. What does a dog do when they have a bone? We decided to ask the experts. The world may never know. Well, we got some Q posts for you. John, how many?
9.
Yes, 2697. 10 minutes after the hour of 10:22. We get this Fox News link right here. FBI scrambled to respond to Hillary Clinton lawyer amid Wiener laptop review. Newly released emails show.
Fox News alert, a newly released internal FBI email showing high-ranking officials scrambling to answer Hillary Clinton's lawyers in the days leading up to the 2016 election. That, of course, is right around the same time then FBI Director James Comey reopened the email investigation. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge has the latest on this from Washington. Catherine, good morning.
Well, thank you, Sandra. Good morning. These FBI emails obtained by Judicial Watch through a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit show that Clinton's legal team immediately reached out to the FBI's top lawyer to complain. The email from Clinton's lawyer David Kendall to FBI General Counsel James Baker came less than 2 weeks before Election Day, and after then FBI Director James Comey sent a letter to Congress reopening the investigation into whether classified information was mishandled by the former Secretary of State. Baker's email was to his boss, FBI Director Comey, lead FBI agent on the email case, Peter Strzok. He was also the lead agent on Russia, and FBI lawyer Lisa Page, among others. Baker's email was about Kendall's complaint that Comey's letter was, quote, tantalizingly ambitious. He continued, "What we had done was worse than transparency because it allows people to make whatever they want out of the letter to the prejudice of Secretary Clinton. I told him that I could not respond to his request at this time, but that I would discuss it with others and get back to him. I suggest that we have some kind of follow-up meeting or phone call with this group, either this evening or over the weekend, to address this and probably other issues, questions that come up in the next 24 hours. Sound reasonable?" It's also worth taking a look at this letter because what you see is that it was copied to senior FBI leadership, about a dozen officials, and it's also worth noting that almost all of those officials have left the Bureau. They were either fired for cause, demoted, or they took early retirement. It's also important to note that from the outset, the former Secretary of State insisted that her use of an unsecured personal server for government business did not put classified information at risk.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email.
That ain't true!
My email. There is no classified material.
That's not true!
So I'm certainly well aware of the classification requirements and did not send classified material.
So get your facts straight.
But an intelligence community review found that hundreds of classified emails were found on the server, and as we first reported here in Fox in October of 2016, the emails that are now released confirm that senior State Department official Patrick Kennedy tried to broker a deal with the FBI in exchange for reducing the classification of a key email that kickstarted the FBI probe. Kennedy was willing to offer the FBI highly coveted slots in Iraq for their investigations. The FBI never changed the classification, and there were no further offers from Kennedy, and he has not commented on these allegations, at least up until this point.
Okay, well, instead of breaking news, this is kind of broken news, isn't it? We talked about this yesterday, and of course, we knew that we were going to get more information in regards to James Baker's testimony, and this looks like more of it. Now, let me just get a little bit more of this in for you here. On October 28, 2016, Comey upended the presidential campaign by informing Congress that the FBI would quickly review the Wiener laptop. The Justice Department's internal watchdog later faulted the FBI for failing to review the Wiener laptop through much of the fall of 2016 and suggested it was possible that now fired FBI agent Peter Strzok may have slow-walked the laptop analysis until other federal prosecutors pressured the FBI to review its contents. On the afternoon of October 28th, Clinton lawyer David Kendall demanded the answers from the FBI, and the agency jumped into action, the emails showed. Many of the emails found on the computer were between Clinton and her senior advisor, Huma Abedin, Wiener's now estranged wife. Despite claims by FBI top officials, including Strzok, several of those emails were determined to contain classified information. I received the email below from David Kendall, and I called him back. Then FBI General Counsel James Baker wrote to the agency's top brass, including Comey, Page, Strzok, and an email. Before doing so, I alerted DOJ via email that I would do that. Okay, so it looks like a lot of people were privy to this email. Now, going back to the Q post here, Q lists them all off here. James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Jim Rubicki. These were all people that were let go or fired. You heard her in the video. James Baker, of course, is where we're getting this information from. Bill Priestap, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Mike Cortan. Haven't heard much from his testimony, or have we? Josh Campbell, Michael Steinbach, John Glacaloni, James Turkle, Greg Bauer, Tricia Anderson. Randy Coleman, we looked into his emails before too. Counterintelligence Division, removed. What does that mean? Fired? Does that mean he stepped down? Was he whited out? Was he deleted? What happened? Coleman authored Anthony Weiner. 2, unrelated. Now, we're not sure exactly what the unrelated might be. 3, Weiner, texting a 15-year-old, which is what he got popped for, right? Sexually explicit. 926, federal, and I would imagine that would be a search warrant, iPhone, iPad, and laptop. So what was on all this stuff? Obviously, it was enough that they wanted to protect it, right? Initial analysis of laptops showed thousands of emails. Now, the emails are obviously crucial. But what I think this all leads us to is the Hillary Clinton and Foundation. That's what Q is pointing to. It's once we finally get into that, we'll see where all these crimes against children were. Look, whatever was on this laptop put Anthony Weiner away. Maybe not for as long as he needs to go, but it did put him in jail, and it made the NYPD sick to look at this. Now, Q has told us before that a couple of these people were in the batter's box, meaning they're up next, being Kevin Kleinsmith, track and follow, Kashina Gohar, track and follow, Sally Moyer, track and follow, Jason V. Herring, track and follow. These are all names that we've yet to hear from, but they are in the batter's box, and so I imagine we're going to start getting some, whether it's compromised emails or bits of their testimony. That should be coming up very, very soon, but these are a lot of names still, and I think that's what Q is alluding to. Nothing being done. It's fake news. Let's move on. Q adds on in post 2698, 15 minutes after the hour at 10 p.m. We get this Twitter link right here. Q says, controlled by those who worked for the Clintons. They have zero control now. Q, and it takes you to this Twitter right here. It's effed up Mike. This should be retweeted everywhere. The scope of the Hillary Clinton email investigation was so private, the OIG didn't have the security clearances needed to view the emails, and the emails couldn't be given to Congress. Just wow. Listen, and this is important to know. This is an old video, obviously. This was back in the day when they were trying to get her the first time. Check it out.
We're in Senate security. We provided it to SSCI, I believe, and HIPS.
Can you provide this committee in a secure format the classified emails?
What I can, to a certain extent. I cannot provide a certain segment of them because the agency that owns the information for those emails has limited the distribution on those. So they're characterizing them as ORCON.
Explain what ORCON is.
Originator control. So I can't give them to even Congress without getting the agency's permission to provide them. So they have been provided.
Which agency?
I can't say that here in an open hearing, sir.
So you can't even tell me which agency won't allow us as members of Congress to see something that Hillary Clinton allowed somebody without a security clearance in a non-protected format to see. That's correct?
Yeah, this is the segment of emails that this is why my letter back to Ranking Member Cummings had to be classified, because people would like to see this segment of emails. And this has been an issue not just with you and your committee, but with several members at this point. So we have gone back to the agency that is involved several times, and we can certainly do that again and ask permission.
Can you generally tell me, is it because they're so sensitive about signals intelligence, humans intelligence? What?
We shouldn't get into the content of these emails in an open hearing, but I'd be happy to take it.
I don't want to violate that, but the concern is it has already been violated, and it was violated by Hillary Clinton, and it was her choice. She set it up, and she created this problem, and she created this mess. We shouldn't have to go through this, but she did that.
This is the segment of emails that I had to have people in my office read in to particular programs to even see these emails. We didn't possess the required clearances and compartments.
So even the Inspector General for ODNI didn't have the requisite security clearances.
That's correct. I had to get read in.
Yeah, wow, indeed. When the inspector can't even inspect the inspectees, it renders everything uninspectable as expected. Well, it's not like that anymore. Controlled by those who worked for the Clintons, they have zero control now, and we're starting to see that we might be able to go ahead and reopen this thing, and of course, that's got them in a panic. Let's move on for now. Post 2699, 17 minutes after the hour of 10. Oh no, we get this link right here. And Q asks, what does a dog do when she has a bone? You are the news now. Well, I guess if they're not going to chew on it right then and there, they're going to take it somewhere and they're going to bury it, right? So let's see what's buried. Looks like this financial disclosure report. Well, it can't be buried that deep. We've got it. This is from 2017. The Honorable Maxine Waters. I like how they put Honorable and Maxine Waters in the same title. All right, well, so this is some of her unearned income from 2017. We know that she's got some unearned income. There's a couple things that stand out to me right away. Of course, there's this, where is it here? American Golf Joint Venture. That's a lot of money right there for consulting. Are you just a really good golfer? Is that what's up? That's a lot of money. But the one that, of course, to me is a massive, massive red flag, and we've talked about it on this channel before, is right here, Merrill Lynch, BlackRock Balanced IRA. So we've got some holdings there. And looks like quite a bit of money, anywhere from $100,000 to $250,000. Who knows how much it actually is? But Merrill Lynch is, of course, an American company, but BlackRock is a Russian asset. And of course, like I said, I talked about this, I don't know, this probably would have been months ago at this point. But yeah, she was holding a few $1,000s in this BlackRock Global, and they've got a lot of responsibilities to Russia, as you can see here in the graphic. There they are. They got a little bit of responsibility to the Federation of Russia. And then, of course, we've got this One United Bank, and I would imagine that involves her husband and all his creepy holdings. So it looks like here we got it. So if we're the dogs, we can go digging for these bones here. But, you know, this is, again, although it seems to be public open source material, it doesn't seem to be common knowledge. Why is that? Well, you know exactly why, Patriot, because they don't want you sniffing around these parts. Well, we are the news now. Let's move on for now. Post 2700, 34 minutes after the hour of 11. This is from the POTUS. This can never be allowed to happen again in our country or to another president. How do you deter and prevent this from happening again? Well, that's a loaded question. Simply by terminating employment of those responsible? No, not necessarily. Something must be wrong, in my opinion, structurally also, to have allowed for this to happen, simply by conducting a few non-threatening investigations or by prosecuting those responsible to the fullest extent of the law. Yeah, and I think for the average citizen who wants to see justice, they're not going to accept anything less at a certain point. Look, we've all been through a lot to see this go down. And yes, we want to see everybody fired. We want to see them give their testimony. I know for myself, I agree with the long plan, because it means that's the best way to clean this out. You know, oversight is so important. It's part of what makes our country so great. It's the fact that, you know, one hand can check what the other hand is doing. But if it can't, this is what gets out of control like this. So, prosecuting this in a public fashion to let people know that this is not okay, and you know, not in a threatening way, but in a way that shows that the people will not accept this from our elected officials. That's going to really set the tone for the decades to come. Setting up new checks and balances and oversight designed to increase transparency. Yeah, and you know, I would argue that a lot of downsizing too. I think I would love to see that. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I think Trump is just one man. I think he would like to see something like that. But overall, these kinds of things inherently want to grow and get out of control. So that's always something that, you know, we, the citizens, really have to be mindful of. Provide OIG offices with funding, incorporation size, plus authority. I'm not sure if that plus in the past I've kind of assumed that to refer to the Rothschild family. Maybe it's simply, you know, kind of implying who's giving the funding to kind of keep this from getting shared. But I'm not really sure. But I think that the point is still that we need to be able to have OIG oversight. Provide select committees with access and in-house viewing of non-national security classified material. Yeah, exactly. We got to be able to see this stuff. Provide a check on directors, department directors, assistant directors of all such ABC agencies. Yes, everybody needs to get reviewed, checked. Establish financial checks, reviews of those in senior critical positions, audits, plus direct family close proximity. Yeah, everybody should get audited. Let's start with the Federal Reserve. Transparency and prosecution is the only way forward to save our republic and safeguard such criminal and treasonous acts from occurring again. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think most of you probably agree. Look, we want to see these people punished to the full extent of the law. And for those who have committed treason, you know exactly what that means. But that's going to send a message. And hopefully it'll send a message once. While some want to quietly remove those responsible and go about our business, save face on the world stage, those in control understand this Band-Aid will simply not work. Yeah, that's an answer for all the people who says, well, just go in there and arrest them. I'm sick of it already. Yeah, you can. Then you can watch them walk free. And you can watch that plan fail. Nobody should be above a law, no matter how massive the spider web is entangled. And we've got a second little parentheses right there. So I wonder what that means. Maybe some of that is becoming untangled. You can let me know what you think down below. This will never happen again. Truth works. Facts matter. Q. Let's move on. Post 2701, 43 minutes after the hour of 11. We get this right here. This is a Donald Trump tweet from the rally. Nice. Look at all those hands. Finish the wall. Beautiful evening in El Paso, Texas last night. God bless the USA. And you can see the timestamp is highlighted here at 8:35 a.m. That would have been Pacific Standard Time. POTUS tweet nearly simultaneous, 11:35 Eastern Standard Time. Now I want to clarify here because there's a lot of people that always send me emails telling me how wrong I am. I'm not wrong. I'm just in a different time zone than you are. Mine shows here 11:34. Yours may show something different. But it looks like 34 minutes past the hour was the Q tweet. And then we had the Donald J. Trump, the Q post and the Donald J. Trump tweet. And it was that. So you have to figure it out for your own time zone there. But don't tell me I'm wrong. I'm just in a different place. So, well, Q is saying here, devices in the same location with the same military encryption with the same service, yet hitting send spreads an unusual gap, even accounting for PIC, non-PIC transmit, plus minus data too. What Q is saying is that they're trying to get it as close to simultaneous as possible so you can see the direct Q President Trump connection there. But sometimes just because of a little bit of lag or whatever it is, it's not going to be simultaneous. And Q is implying here that some people just are never happy. Sometimes we get a hit, sometimes we don't. We are past that now. Correct. Now, I just want to point out something interesting that this, when Q says we are past, I would assume that would be PASSED. The past is usually referring to the past. So I don't know if that was purposeful or not, but the reason I'm highlighting that is because in the next post, Q adds on here. And this is 2702, 48 minutes past the hour of 11 for me. And we see this right here. And this was the tweet, the post, the previous post, the one that we see over here, 2700. And this is the tweet, and the Anon is making a graphic. For those of you who are new to QAnon, the reason QAnon does this is so that we'll make graphics here, so that later on we'll be able to prove Q. It's a Q proof. 1 minute time delta, meaning 1 minute post later. Q posted first, yet another Q proof. So essentially we get POTUS's own words here within just a minute of each other. Yet another Q proof. Nice work, team. Maybe one day we'll hit 0000. Many 0 X's, but that doesn't cut it for Anons. Like I said, Q is implying that some people are just not happy enough. That's a pretty close Q proof. And the fact that Q posts before POTUS should be the really telling aspect of that. Let's move on. Post 2703, 50 minutes after the hour of 11. Q responds to an Anon's response. We are past that now, correct, Q? The Anon says way past this now. People who still need proofs will never get it. Yeah, I would agree. Q says mathematically impossible. Those who challenge have an agenda or are simply still asleep. The narrative has them. Yeah, look, and I've always been pretty cool with people who aren't into Q, especially following other content creators who maybe offer up good content otherwise. You know, I don't use it as sort of this litmus test as to whether somebody is good or on my team or not. There's a lot of good people that just don't follow Q or aren't down with it, just aren't digging it. But the fact of the matter is that, look, after a certain point, you start following this and you go, man, this really is mathematically impossible. It gets ridiculous week after week, proof after proof. And when it all gets laid out for you, it's really, really hard to kind of go wager against it, you know? So whether or not they're asleep, I don't know that I necessarily say that. Maybe they're just not yet ready to turn on to it. But the fact of the matter is that it's growing. It's growing around the world, and we're seeing this. So, you know, which narrative do you want to be a part of? Create your own narrative. But I find it very strange that you have these multitudes of people trying to call QAnon followers cultists when we're the ones who do the most thinking for ourselves. But there you go. 27:04, 51 minutes after the hour of 11. Adding on to this, Q says spelling error by mistake on the move. Okay, so it wasn't no big deal. There's some bad English for you right there. 27:05, 53 minutes after the hour of 11. Q adds on again, not seeing an error now, long night. Q, your message looks like a gun, Q. So now you're not seeing an error, huh? How about that? So, PAST, PASSED. Now, for those of you gematria aficionados, you can let me know what you think about that, but it looks like Q is turning us on to the difference between past and past. So not really sure if Q is wanting us to dig something up from the past, but it does look like Q is definitely turning us on to the fact that there was an error there. So you can let me know what you think down below. I am going to probably get online and check out what some of you guys think, because I haven't been on there yet to do so. Those are your Q posts. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. And if you didn't like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe, and you will have done your good deed for the day. Thanks to all of you who do that already. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to you. Please keep in mind that from time to time, you will get unclicked and unsubscribed and unnotified. That's how social media works these days. And if you're having a hard time finding me, it's because YouTube is burying me. So you may have to go digging for me. Just know that that's on YouTube's end and not mine. You don't need to message me about it. I already know. Believe me, I already know. All my links are down below. My Gab, my BitChute, my Real Video, which is now Brighteon.com. And I'm over at Twitter at IPOT1776. That's at IPOT1776. My email is down below. My P.O. box is down below. And if you'd like to support my channel, my Patreon link is down below. All those links are down below. And for all those people who keep asking, hey, what's that funky jam that you keep playing all the time? It's down below. All right, kids, this is Sir Patrick Mack. Until next time, stay focused.